Hello, Hellions and Helliots. How are we doing today? Oh, what a nice day it's turned out to be in my part of the world. Before we get started, we have a couple moments of silence to recognize. The first one being, of course, the beatboxing maestro known as Biz Markie. I've been a Biz Markie fan since the beginning. I remember when beatboxing was probably more popular than rap music. Um, I know he had a long fight and bout with diabetes. We are going to miss you, Bismarcky. I have some good stories about you, and honestly, I my favorite memory of Bismarcky is my kids watching Yo Gabba Gabba, and Biz would have the beat of the day or the happy birthday song, and I absolutely love that. I love the fact that there was somebody from my generation, the very beginnings of rap music, uh, promoting something fairly ancient. Uh, and it was funny to watch my kids try to beatbox. And I am, and most of us who love rap music is gonna miss you, Biz. The other one is a belated moment of silence, and it's a big one for me because I just found out this happened, and it is a punk rocker who goes by the name of Steve Davis. Um, I've been in contact with Steve Davis probably for about 2 to 3 years now. He was a fixture in the Phoenix, Arizona punk rock scene. He was in the U.S. Bombs. He was in a band called Glass Heroes. I honestly, the only reason I found out this guy passed away is because back in 2018 he was diagnosed with stage 4 liver failure, and he was given 3 months to live. But however, he he lasted until 2021. Um, this is a hard one for me actually. When I started this show, I kind of went out of my way to really befriend record labels and bands, mostly to get the approval to play their music on my show. And Steve Davis was one of the very first people who contacted me and said I was doing a great job. He loved seeing what I was doing. Here's my messenger. Feel free to contact me. And at the time, I didn't know who this guy was. I'm like, okay, great, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's nice hearing those kind words. And the more I got to, for a day or so, it took me about a day or two before I realized this guy was in the U.S. Bombs, and that's a band I've been listening to probably since the early '90s. I remember they were like the the band for some show on Comedy Central for a while. I thought that was funny that there was the house band was some crazy punk rock band. But yeah, I found out that uh, yeah, Stevie was a part of that. Um, the more I got to know this guy, and the more I looked at his posts, the more I became inspired. And I have to say, this is Steve Davis was one of the most inspirational, uh, caring, generous people I have ever quote unquote met. You don't really meet anybody online. They're all pseudo friends and all that. But he never failed to send me a direct message or a private message saying, "Oh, great show tonight. I love that band. We toured with them in '96. It's great to hear them again." Um, so yeah, he passed 2 months ago, 3 months ago in April or May. And, there's nothing all that special about what I'm doing. There's nothing all that special about me. I mean, look at me. I'm an alcoholic with a beer gut, living vicariously through my love of music and my music collection. But I can't tell you how many times that somebody has messaged me and talked about suicide or breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or they're just down and they can't get off the alcohol or the drugs or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm like bad religion. I give you nothing. I mean, why are you coming to me? I mean, I'm like Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know, but I'm going to try to help you if I can, and give you some kind words. And usually my go-to is, even if you live to be 100 years old, it's not long enough to accomplish and do everything you want to do in your life. And it doesn't matter how healthy, unhealthy you are, mentally, physically, it really doesn't matter. But I always, always, always sent these people over to Steve Davis's Facebook page, because here was a guy who was seriously looking down the barrel of a gun and didn't know if he was going to be around the next day, and had this incredibly positive, almost religious message to give to the world. And it was always inspiring. And I've had a few people who actually did what I told them to do, and they said, thank you, thank you for sending me to this guy. It's amazing that this guy has this really big, unselfish perspective on the world. So yeah, it's heartbreaking that a person like this is gone, because people like this are few and far between, especially in the nihilistic, sarcastic world of punk rock. It's very hard to find these kinds of people. So we're all going to miss Steve Davis. I know the punk rock community, and definitely the punk rock community in Phoenix, Arizona, has a very large hole in it, and a very large hole to fill. And I'm definitely going to miss some of my conversations with this guy. So, yeah. My man, Steve Davis. Check him out. Stevie and the Sleaze, US Bombs, Glass Heroes. Stevie D and Our Ship. May your grace, your generosity, and your words inspire even the angels of heaven. Moment of silence. Happy birthday. Moment of silence. Okay. Now that that's done, let's get on with those who are still among us. Today, we're going to talk about a band called Gibbous. I have no idea where this band is from. I can't find any personal information on these guys. However, I do know that they are on Lumpy Records. Lumpy Records comes out of St. Louis, Missouri. They are highly prolific, and honestly, all the bands and the records, these are highly sought after items worldwide now. I mean, this record label that I believe was started by Lumpy from Lumpy and the Dumpers and probably evolved, I'm speculating, don't quote me on this, from another label called Total Punk Records. Um, are redefining punk rock throughout the world. I mean, if you grew up listening to Flipper, you're gonna love the majority of the bands that come off this label because they are raw, unapologetic. It is insane what the aural, beautiful aural trash that these people are producing. Um, and I find myself drawn to them every time I go to a record store or get online to buy some records. Yeah, and Lumpy Records out of St. Louis, Missouri, featuring the band Gibbous, that I don't know where they're from. Probably St. Louis, because that's where most of these bands are based out of. I love this. This. I mean, look at this. This is a paper grocery bag. This is the kind of thing they're doing. So how about I quit flapping my jaws and we go ahead and play this thing. I think you're going to enjoy it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's spin that second side. Give it to me, Gibbous. Give it to me.
In February 2006, 5 people were inappropriately jumping in an elevator at a Bellevue shopping center. The 5th and last person to leave the elevator jumped, but then fell backward and down the elevator shaft to his death.
So there you go. Gibbous. Again, probably from St. Louis, just because they're on Lumpy Records, but I don't really know. Amazing band. I love this record, and I hope to see you next week, next few days. I don't know. Have a good one. Psychedelic Sunday, y'all.